This is how you get on your path, on your purpose. Because we've been taught, we've been brainwashed, we've been trained to focus on external things that do not serve our true mission, purpose, or path in life. We've been desensitized to these signals that naturally guide us in the direction that we're supposed to be going in life. And we've learned or been taught, again, brainwashed, to suppress our intuition and to cut off our guides, our higher self, and connections to a higher purpose, to focus on the material and focus on the day-to-day, to focus on linear time and the more dense aspects of three-dimensional space and time, especially here on Earth, to serve other people's purpose and mission, as distorted as those purposes and missions may be, if you're usurping other people's free will or coercing others to do your bidding, or tricking or lying to people so they do your bidding. All of that to say is that naturally, our mission, our purpose, our path in life, our dharma, is the most natural, effortless path that we can take. So I can tell you now, the path that you're meant to be walking on, the path of your purpose, the path of your dharma, your mission, will feel the most aligned and will feel the most effortless. That doesn't mean that you won't exert effort, right? There's people whose purpose is to, do ultra marathons, and that takes a lot of effort. But from their perspective, it is natural, it is effortless, it is fluid, it is flow, because they are in full alignment. So what happens here is that life is not meant to be hard. It can be hard. And for most of us, it is very hard. It is very difficult. But it doesn't have to be. And it's not meant to be when you are in alignment. And you can even do conventionally difficult things like exercising or studying really hard or working long hours, but it doesn't feel like work. If you see people who are very successful or who are doing something they're very passionate about, a lot of times this is usually like actors and musicians, what we see in the limelight, but obviously there's tons of practitioners or experts or masters in their field around the world in all different walks of life. You could be like an artisan or a lawyer or, even car salesman, whatever it may be, a shoes blacksmith or shoemaker or whatever they're called. I forgot what they're called. There's like a special word for people who make shoes or work on shoes. But a cobbler. You can be a cobbler. You could just be a lady who sells fruit on the side of the road, right? And to that individual, shaman, to that individual, it's pure alignment, it's effortless, okay? So what we need to get away from is learning to not overly focus on the external and start focusing on the internal signals, seeing if we are tense or tight when we're performing certain actions, and also how we feel emotionally. We've been taught that, work is work. It's supposed to be difficult. It's supposed to suck. No one really likes work. People like the weekends. People want to go on vacation. No, if you're doing what you love for your work, you're doing what you love. You love to do it. You would rather be doing that than even going on vacation or taking a break. Okay? When you're doing something that's fully aligned, it's like, okay, that's actually way better than doing nothing. Doing nothing is actually quite boring. Or, roasting away in front of a screen watching a bunch of YouTube videos or TV or social media or just, sitting around eating junk food, like that actually becomes so much less enjoyable than when you are aligned with your mission. But if you're doing something that is not your mission, not your purpose, not your dharma, well, then those things become enticing. Those things become a very attention grabbing because you're not really on the path that is aligned with you. And so you'd rather be doing that than doing the thing that's not your path, not your purpose. Because again, we've been brainwashed into thinking that it's not about your purpose. It's not about your mission in life. It's about surviving. Really, it's about surviving, having the basic necessities, doing the work for other people to prop them up and to prop their dreams up, like I said before. So first, going inside of yourself to listen to the body, pay attention to the signals. The major one is tension and relaxation or fluid and restriction or tightness. If you have a lot of tightness or tension in the body, this is a lack of alignment. This is a misalignment, a lack of congruence, all right? Another one is emotions. The emotional guidance system is so important. If your days are full of negative emotions, that is telling you that you're going in the wrong direction. Negative emotions are telling you you're going in the wrong direction, away from your purpose, away from your dharma, away from your natural state of being. Positive emotions, obviously, are saying, hey, yes, good, reinforcing it, keep doing that. Do that over again. Again, do not conflate positive emotions like peace, joy, love with pleasure and desire. Those are negative. That's actually a negative emotion. Needing something. Oh, I crave something. Craving, that's a negative emotion. And usually it's a negative emotion that's suppressing or overlaying another negative emotion, a deeper negative emotion like anger, fear, guilt, shame, grief, things like that. So following positive emotions, again, truly positive emotions, not pleasure, like pleasure seeking, that's not positive. Again, I have to really reiterate that because people will say, oh, well, if I'm seeking positive emotions, I can eat whatever I want. Or it's like, no, that's not positive emotions, because if it was positive, that means it'd be reinforcing. But what happens with that is that you get the hit. You take the drug, you eat the junk food, you watch the reel, and you need more and more. It leaves you feeling empty, so you need to fill yourself up with more of it. But it's an endless pit. It's a bottomless pit. There's never enough. Not fulfilling. So doing things that are fulfilling and moving towards those things that are fulfilling. And also then, with that, following your emotions, focusing, going inside of yourself to see what aspects of yourself are out of alignment with your purpose. These are the ones that hold your negative emotions. These are the ones that are afraid. These are the ones that hold the limiting beliefs or the insecurities or the negative emotions that are weighing you down, that are lowering your frequency, that are lowering your vibration. Okay? Because you need to get everyone on the same page. That's when things become effortless. You can actually even be on the right path, but it can still feel effortful, right? Not effortless, but effortful. It's not really a word, but you get the point. It can feel like a struggle even if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, because there's aspects of yourself that for whatever reason are resistant to it. That could be because of, not getting approval from your parents or fears around material things. I mean, really what I'm saying is money concerns, right? So focusing on the aspects of yourself that are doubting or out of alignment with the path too. But also connecting with your higher self, connecting with your inner guidance system in general, your intuition, going inside of that's really like the key of it, is it's stopping to orient yourself, right? Imagine you're at sea, you're sailing a ship, you're the captain, you're the capitan of the ship. And you want to go to a specific place in the world. You want to go to the island. An island, right? A particular island. Well, if you're lost, or if you keep running into storms, or you feel like you've been at sea for too long and it's actually taking too long, what you want to do is you want to stop, focus on the ship, get the team together, and then organize and say, hey, how are we going to move forward? That's what you want to do. You want to reorient yourself, but you do that by going inside of yourself, not by looking outside of yourself. Because looking outside of yourself, that means it's too late. You're looking in the past, essentially, where you're looking outside of the present moment. Internally is where the present moment is. Obviously, externally as well, it's a reflection. But if you want to redirect yourself in the proper direction, you need to take a break. You need to take a second. If you're constantly doing, taking actions, you don't have time to actually self-reflect. Become aware of why you're moving in that direction or what you're doing, okay? Now, when you become enlightened, you can do whatever you want. You can walk and talk and do all the work and all that stuff and be present. But if you're watching this video, you're most likely not enlightened. So look inside of yourself. And like I said, start learning and focusing on what things bring tension to your body, restriction to your body, retraction, what brings expansion and flow and relaxation or fluidity to your body. What elicits more positive emotions? What elicits more negative emotions, including desire and pleasure seeking and cravings? And then finally, what aspects of yourself are out of alignment? And how do you know if they're out of alignment? They hold those negative emotions. They hold the limiting beliefs, okay? And they're ruminating, they're thinking, and they have lots of explanations for things. Usually the parts of ourselves that are out of alignment to will always have a string of good reasons why not to do that thing. Where when you're on your path, it's just is, right? Love. If somebody asks you, oh, why do you love or take care of your kids or your spouse or your parents or your best friends, you're saying, well, there's no explanation because I love them. I mean, case closed. I don't need to do a long convoluted explanation of why I'm loving or taking care of the people I love or why I love other people. It's just like, no duh. Why are you doing that thing? Oh, because I like doing it. Done. Or because it brings me joy. Brings me peace. It feels right. You don't need a whole long list of things. But then if somebody asks you, why are you working that job you hate? Well, because I have to pay the bills and because, I tried to do what I wanted to do, but I couldn't really, there's like this whole long, thus though protest too much. You need a whole long line of explanations about why you're doing what you're doing. So focusing on the parts of yourself that are coming with a lot of excuses, a lot of long, convoluted explanations of why you need to do certain things that don't feel aligned, that elicit negative emotions, that lead to contraction and restriction and limitation and constraints, inhibitions. Something to think about. And if you want help with doing that inner work, that inner connection with, your inner guidance system, your intuition, to reorient yourself and also heal the parts of yourself that are out of alignment with your path. Because again, the path is there the entire time. It's just you have to get the blocks out of the way, like clouds and the sun. The sun is your path, your purpose. The clouds or the blocks, the limiting beliefs, the aspects of your being that are out of alignment, they are clouding what has always been there. So you have to just clear out the bullshit that's in the way of your path and you will naturally see it. Because it is the default. It is your birthright. For real, it is literally your birthright. So if you want help doing that, I have a transformation guide you can get down below in the description at amirthealchemist.com. And thank you for your time.